Welcome to Lithi-Zim. Today's video is hosted by Sage Wagner, a highly skilled geologist and geophysicist who will guide you through the exciting world of geoscience. Join us as we explore Earth.
In the beginning, we see a beautiful landscape, with lush greenery and sparkling rivers. But as we zoom in, we realize that this is not just a simple, idyllic scene. This is a complex system, where the forces of nature are constantly at play. As we look closer, we see the various geomorphic features that shape the land. The point bars and cutbanks of the river, the rolling hills and valleys, and the towering mountains. But something is not quite right. The point bar seems to be in danger, as it is caught between the forces of erosion and accretion. Will it experience lateral accretion and stabilize the feature, or will the cutbank erode enough to cause a neck cutoff? This is a story of the ongoing battle between the forces of nature and the changing landscape. And as we watch this epic struggle unfold, we must ask ourselves, which geomorphic feature will prevail? Will the point bar survive, or will it be consumed by the relentless forces of erosion? Only time will tell in this complex system, and it's not an ideal model. The comic book opens with a panoramic view of a vast river basin, with rivers winding through lush green valleys and rugged mountains in the background. The scene is teeming with life, as fish swim in the rivers, birds soar in the sky, and animals roam the land. As we zoom in, we are introduced to the complex interactions that shape this landscape. We see how the basin scale controls, such as climate, geology, and topography, interact to shape the rivers and their floodplains. But there's something else at play here, something that's not immediately obvious. We see how the vegetation along the riverbanks plays a crucial role in shaping the landscape. The bank stabilizing vegetation increases the integrity of the banks, helping to protect them from erosion. This is where biology comes in, and we can see how it interacts with the other controls. As we delve deeper, we learn about the facies scale controls that shape the meandering fluvial system. We see how the gradients, discharge, and bed form of the rivers interact to create different types of channels and floodplains. This is where the complexity of the system really becomes apparent, as we see how all these different controls interact. With a series of illustrations, each representing an end-member fluvial system, a braided, meandering, and straight channel. As we look closer, we see that each of these illustrations is a cartoon representation of what these systems actually look like in the real world. As we turn the page, we are introduced to the facies scale controls that shape these fluvial systems. We learn about gradient, which is the change in elevation over a certain distance, and how it controls the formation of different types of channels. We also learn about discharge, which is the amount of water flowing through a channel, and how it affects the velocity and sediment load of the river. We learn about the different types of sediment load: bed load, suspended load, and dissolved load. Bed load is dependent on the velocity and bed shear stress of the river. Suspended load is dependent on the settling velocity and magnitude of turbulent flow, and dissolved load is dependent on the dissolution of very fine particulates. As we continue to read the comic book, we learn about the different types of fluvial systems, such as braided, meandering, and straight channels, and how these different systems are shaped by them. We can observe a braided channel system, characterized by a high bedload sediment load, channel widening through bank erosion, and the formation of channel bars. We learn that the sinuosity index, ratio of channel length to downvalley length, for this type of system is greater than 1.3. Then see an illustration of a meandering channel system, characterized by a high suspended or dissolved sediment load, channel incision, meander migration through bank erosion, point bar formation, and lateral accretion. The sinuosity index for this type of system is greater than 1.5. Finally, we see an illustration of a straight channel system, characterized by a low sediment load, minor channel widening and incision, and the formation of channel shoals. The sinuosity index for this type of system is less than 1.05. The comic book notes that while these end-member models provide a useful framework for understanding different fluvial patterns, they are not mutually exclusive and different parameters are used to define different patterns. It also notes that these methods of description are unsatisfactory due to the complexity of the systems in nature. In summary, there has been a recent debate about the dominant fluvial styles in the geological record, with some arguing that distributary fluvial systems are most common and others suggesting a variety of styles including axial fluvial systems. This study examines the quaternary record of the largest depositional tracts on Earth, including the alluvial belts of the largest rivers and the largest megafans, to analyze the occurrence and characteristics of braided, meandering and ana-branching rivers. It is concluded that meandering and ana-branching systems are dominant in large rivers, and ana-branching systems are the end member for mega rivers. The study also looks at the potential preservation and storage capacity of axial rivers, avulsive rivers and megafans, and concludes that megafans, avulsive systems, and linear fluvial belts of major rivers have the potential for preservation in the geological record. Meandering rivers are characterized by their winding, serpentine shape and are created by the erosion and deposit of sediment along the river's bank. They are formed when a river's flow slows down and the sediment it carries begins to deposit, forming a point bar on the inside of the bend and causing the river to erode the bank on the outside of the bend. This process creates a looping pattern of erosion and deposit, resulting in the characteristic meandering shape of the river. The Rio Purus in South America is an example of a meandering river, with a sinuous tortuous channel that winds through the landscape. Meandering rivers with a tendency towards ana-branching are a type of fluvial system that exhibit a combination of meandering and ana-branching characteristics. These rivers have a sinuous and winding channel pattern, similar to traditional meandering rivers, but also display a tendency towards the development of multiple channel branches or ana-branches, which can split off from the main channel and meander independently. These ana-branches can eventually reconnect with the main channel or continue to diverge, creating a complex and dynamic system. This type of river system is common in large, low-gradient rivers with high sediment loads and is influenced by factors such as vegetation, topography, and water discharge. Understanding the dynamics and characteristics of these types of rivers is important for managing and understanding their impact on the landscape and the communities that depend on them. Meandering rivers with a tendency towards ana-branching are a type of fluvial system where the river channel follows a sinuous and winding path, with multiple branches and channels that constantly change over time. These types of rivers are characterized by a non-uniform flow pattern, with different velocities and depths of flow at different points along the channel. The flow in these rivers is also influenced by the boundary layer, which is the layer of fluid closest to the riverbed. Bernoulli's principle, which states that the energy of a fluid is related to its velocity, plays a key role in the flow dynamics of meandering rivers with a tendency towards ana-branching. Additionally, these rivers can have either laminar or turbulent flow, which determines the type of sediment that is transported and deposited in the channel. The main focus is on the geomorphic features of meandering rivers and the importance of understanding the difference between the thalweg and the channel axis. Meanders, or the curved patterns in a river's course, are a key feature of meandering rivers. The meander belt refers to the area where meanders are commonly found. The meander belt axis is the centerline of the meander belt, while the channel axis is the centerline of the entire river channel. The thalweg, or the deepest part of the river channel, is also discussed as an important point of reference in understanding meandering rivers. Additionally, the valley wall, including features such as bluffs and terraces, is also noted as a key aspect of meandering river landscapes. Secondary flow refers to the flow patterns that occur in addition to the primary flow in a river channel. One important aspect of secondary flow is superelevation, which refers to the higher water level on the outer bank of a meander. This is caused by the faster flow on the outer bank and the slower flow on the inner bank, creating a centrifugal force that lifts the water on the outer bank. Another aspect of secondary flow is helical flow, which refers to the circular flow patterns that occur along the river channel. This is caused by the combination of the primary flow and the centrifugal force of the meander, creating a spiral flow that moves water around the bend of the meander. These secondary flow patterns play a key role in shaping and maintaining the geomorphology of the river channel and are important to understand in the study of river dynamics. Rivers have a tendency to form meandering paths rather than straight ones, and this is the result of both external and internal mechanisms. External mechanisms, such as discharge and sediment supply, play a role in the river's energy efficiency and stream power. On the other hand, internal mechanisms, such as flow separation and the development of vortices, are influenced by local perturbations. To put it simply, meandering is associated with rivers adjusting their energy expenditure and load transport in response to inhomogeneities in bank and bed materials. The interplay between bedform structures and flow patterns is also a significant factor in shaping a river channel. We will delve deeper into this topic throughout the presentation. Sediment storage is an important aspect of river dynamics, and there are several different types of storage systems found in rivers. Point bars, channel bars, levees, and floodplains are all examples of temporary sediment storage systems. These storage systems are formed as a result of the river's flow and sediment transport patterns, and they are constantly changing and shifting over time. In contrast, terraces and deltas are examples of long-term sediment storage systems. These types of storage systems are formed over a longer period of time and are more stable than temporary storage systems. They can provide important habitats for plants and animals and also offer a record of past changes in the river's flow and sediment transport patterns. Understanding the different types of sediment storage systems and their role in shaping the river's landscape is crucial for understanding river dynamics. A point bar is a depositional feature found in meandering rivers. It is located on the inside of a river bend, or meander, and is formed as a result of the river's flow patterns and sediment transport. As the river flows around a bend, the water on the inside of the bend slows down and loses its energy, causing sediment to be deposited. This process forms a bar of sediment that builds up over time and gradually becomes larger. Point bars are typically composed of sand and gravel and are typically found in areas with a moderate to high sediment supply. They are also important habitats for plants and animals, and they can provide a record of past changes in the river's flow and sediment transport patterns. Understanding the formation and significance of point bars is crucial for understanding river dynamics and the evolution of river systems. A cut bank, also known as an eroding bank or river cliff, is a feature found in meandering rivers. It is located on the outside of a river bend, or meander, and is formed as a result of the river's flow patterns and sediment transport. As the river flows around a bend, the water on the outside of the bend has a higher velocity and energy, causing erosion to occur. This process erodes the bank and forms a cut bank. Cut banks are typically composed of harder materials such as clay or rock and are usually steeper than point bars. They also play an important role in the formation of meanders and the sediment transport by the river. Cut banks are also important habitats for plants and animals, and they can provide a record of past changes in the river's flow and sediment transport patterns. Understanding the formation and significance of cut banks is crucial for understanding river dynamics and the evolution of river systems. Meanders are a common feature in rivers, and they are formed as a result of the river's flow patterns and sediment transport. The growth of a meander bend is a gradual process that occurs over time. As the river flows around a bend, the water on the inside of the bend slows down and deposits sediment, forming a point bar. This process causes the bend to gradually become more pronounced, and the river channel migrates laterally. However, this lateral expansion of meanders can lead to the development of neck cutoffs, which is a process where a new channel is formed across the narrow neck of the meander. This cuts off the loop of the meander and shortens the river channel. Another process that can lead to the cutting off of meanders is the development of point bar chutes. Point bar chutes are formed when sediment is transported through a point bar and deposited on the inside of the bend, causing the river channel to migrate laterally. These processes, along with others, are important in understanding the formation and evolution of meanders in rivers. Channel abandonment is the process by which a river channel becomes inactive and is no longer used by the river. This can happen for a variety of reasons, including changes in the river's flow patterns, sediment transport, and/or landscape. A neck cutoff is a type of channel abandonment that occurs when a new channel is formed across the narrow neck of a meander, cutting off the loop of the meander and shortening the river channel. A cut-off chute channel is another type of channel abandonment that occurs when a new channel forms and captures the flow of the river, causing the old channel to become inactive. Avulsion is a type of channel abandonment that occurs when a river abruptly changes its course and creates a new channel. This can happen suddenly, as a result of a flood or other event, or gradually over time. Understanding the different types of channel abandonment and the processes that cause them is crucial for understanding the evolution of river systems and predicting how they may change in the future. An oxbow lake is a type of lake that is formed as a result of meander migration in a river. It is formed when the river erodes the outer banks of a meander and deposits sediment on the inner banks, causing the meander to gradually become more pronounced. Eventually, the river may cut off the loop of the meander, leaving behind a crescent-shaped lake. Oxbow lakes are typically found on the floodplain of a river and are sites of deposition for fine-grained overbank sediment and organic material such as peat. Over time, oxbow lakes can transition into swamps and wetlands. When one side of the lake still receives water, it is considered a slough lake. Cut-off chute channels are formed during flooding when flow across the point bar causes channels to be established. These channels can be intense and cause scouring of the riverbed, which can lead to the establishment of a new channel. This process can also contribute to the formation of oxbow lakes as the river erodes the outer banks of a meander and deposits sediment on the inner banks, causing the meander to gradually become more pronounced, and eventually cut off. Understanding the formation of oxbow lakes and cut-off chute channels is Cut-off chute channels are a key aspect of fluvial dynamics, and they are formed during flooding events. When a river floods, the increased flow across the point bar causes channels or chutes to be established. These channels can be intense and cause significant scouring of the riverbed. The erosion caused by the scouring can lead to the establishment of a new channel, which can change the shape and dynamics of the river system. Understanding the formation and impact of cut-off chute channels is crucial for predicting and managing the changes in river dynamics and the potential hazards associated with floods. Avulsion is a process in which a river abruptly changes its course and establishes a new channel. This can happen suddenly, as a result of a flood or other event, or gradually over time. One of the main causes of avulsion is repeated flooding in a mature river. When a river floods repeatedly, it can cause a buildup of sediment in the meander belt. As the meander belt becomes higher in elevation than the surrounding floodplain, it becomes more susceptible to avulsion. During a large flood event, the river may abandon its meander belt entirely and establish a new channel in the surrounding low-lying floodplain. This process can happen quickly and can have significant impacts on the surrounding landscape, altering the shape and location of the river channel and potentially affecting the habitats and ecosystems in the area. Avulsion is an important process in the evolution of river systems, and understanding its causes and effects is crucial for predicting and managing the changes in river dynamics. Studying fluvial depositional processes in 3 dimensions is essential for understanding the complex dynamics of river systems. By examining the 3-dimensional architecture of a river channel and its associated deposits, we can gain valuable insights into the processes that shape the river and the sediment it carries. One of the key advantages of studying fluvial depositional processes in 3 dimensions is that it allows us to better understand the temporal and spatial variability of sediment transport and deposition. This variability is influenced by a wide range of factors, including the river's flow patterns, sediment supply, and the characteristics of the channel and its surrounding landscape. By examining the 3-dimensional architecture of a river channel, we can better understand how these factors interact to shape the river over time. Another important benefit of studying fluvial depositional processes in 3 dimensions is that it allows us to better understand the relationship between the river and its surrounding environment. Rivers are not just channels of water, they are also corridors of sediment and energy that connect the uplands to the lowlands. By studying.
Thank you for watching. We at Lithi-Zim appreciate your support. It is with great pleasure that we get to bring you these videos about geology, geophysics, GIS, and computer science. Until next time.